So when the user successfully logs in, we get a JSON Web Token, which is like an identification card. At this point, we should store this JSON Web Token on the client. Where? Well, every browser has a small little database called local storage. And in this database, we can store key value pairs. So here, when we await the promise that we get from our login function, we get the response object. This response has a property called data. So we can use object destructuring to pick the data property. But because we already defined data earlier, we're going to rename this to JWT. So with this, we can get the JSON Web Token in the body of the response. Let's verify that. So console.log of JWT, save the changes, back in the browser. Here we have a valid username and password, login. Look, this is our JSON Web Token. Now we're ready to store this in the local storage. So we access the local storage object. This is available in all browsers. This object has a few useful methods like set item, remove item, and so on. Here we're going to call set item. This method takes two parameters, key and value. And as you can see in the IntelliSense, both these parameters are strings. So I'm going to set the key to token and the value to JWT. Save the changes. Now one more time, let's log in with a valid username and password. Now open up Chrome Developer Tools. Now under the Application tab, here we have storage, we have local storage. Let's expand that. We have a local storage per domain. So this is the domain of our application, localhost, port, whatever. In this domain, we have this small database, which consists of a bunch of key value pairs. So here's our key token and the value is our JSON Web Token. Beautiful. Now, the last thing we need to do is to redirect the user to the home page. So earlier when we talked about routing and navigation, you learned that when we implement routing in our application, the props object we have here will have an additional property called history. And this represents the browser's history. So here we can call the push method to navigate the user to a different address. In that case, the home page. Now, let's test the application one more time. So let's submit the form and we're back to the home page. Beautiful. So our login form is functioning properly. Next, we're going to go back to our registration form. And when the user registers, we want to automatically log them in so they don't have to manually fill out the login form one more time.